All right, let's plug into a story about incredible demand, record-breaking growth, and one company caught right in the middle of a global economic storm. This is a big one. I mean, just think about it. The device you're watching this on right now, the massive data centers running our digital world, our hunger for electricity is absolutely insatiable, and it's only growing. It's a question we almost never think about, right? You flip a switch, the lights come on, simple as that. But the journey that electricity takes, wow, it's one of the great engineering marvels of our time. The best way to picture it is like a giant circulatory system for the entire planet. These aren't just simple wires. No, these are the high-tech, high-voltage arteries that literally keep our modern world pumping with energy. And that company is APAR Industries. They are right at the heart of this electric revolution, but they're also navigating some of the biggest economic headwinds you can possibly imagine. So, to really get APAR's story, you first have to understand the sheer scale of the opportunity in front of them. The world is electrifying at a pace that we have never, ever seen before. And what's driving all this? Well, it's a few huge things all happening at once. You've got this massive boom in renewable energy, like solar and wind. You have these incredibly power-hungry AI data centers popping up everywhere. And you've got all these aging national grids that desperately need a modern upgrade. I mean, just look at India's plan alone, 77 times billion dollars to build out its transmission lines. That is a colossal market. And that brings us to APR Industries. They're one of the key players actually manufacturing the essential hardware for this global electrical build-out. So let's be super clear. We are not talking about your household extension cord here. Conductors and cables, these are heavy-duty industrial-grade products. They're designed to move huge amounts of power over vast distances with as little loss as possible. It's a really specialized engineering-heavy business. And this chart breaks down their business perfectly. What you're looking at is their EBITDA, which is really just a good way to measure a company's operating profit. You can see right away about half of it comes from conductors. Those are the big transmission lines. Another 30% from cables and 20% from specialty oils. So yeah, conductors and cables, that's clearly the heart of their whole operation. Okay, so let's get to the numbers. Because with all that demand we talked about, APR just had an absolutely incredible run. 10,820 crores. That is a massive number and a huge milestone for the company. Just to put it in perspective for you, that's well over $1 billion in revenue in just 6 months. That just shows you the sheer scale of what they're doing. And they're not just big, they're growing fast. A 25% year-on-year growth isn't just a number on a slide. It's proof that they are actually capturing that massive global demand we saw earlier. But this number is just astonishing. 122% growth in the US market alone. It's an incredible success story. But this is exactly what put them directly in the path of the storm that was coming. Because just as business was absolutely booming, two major global forces came together to create a massive, massive challenge for the company. They got hit by a perfect storm from two different directions. So first, on this side, the price of their main raw materials, we're talking aluminum and copper, they shot up to near all-time highs. That makes customers really nervous, and they start delaying their orders. Then, at the exact same time, their biggest growth market, the US, brought in this complex new tariff, a steep 50% tax on the metal value of their products. The uncertainty from both of these things was so great that new orders from the US pretty much just ground to a halt. And the company's chairman, Kushal Desai, he put it perfectly right here. Customers everywhere just hit the brakes. They started playing a waiting game. Imagine running your factory at full speed, and then suddenly your order book just freezes up because of things completely outside of your control. So the big question is, what do you do when you're caught in a storm like this? Well, it turns out APAR has a very clear game plan. Their strategy really has 3 parts. First, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Mitigate the US slowdown by pushing harder into other growing markets, like Europe and Latin America. Second, focus on selling more specialized, high-margin, premium products, because those are less sensitive to price swings. And third, and this is the most important one, play the long game. They know the short term's going to be choppy, but the fundamental need for their products isn't going anywhere. And this right here is the key takeaway. Despite the price spikes, despite the tariffs, the world still has to build out its electric grid. All those solar farms, wind turbines, data centers, they all still need to be connected. That underlying reality is APAR's anchor in this storm. So it all leaves us with this final big picture question. We live in a world that is more interconnected and more power hungry than it has ever been before. But at the same time, all these economic walls are going up. The story of APAR Industries isn't really just about one company. It's a snapshot of this core conflict that's shaping all of our futures, the unstoppable global demand for energy versus the unpredictable forces of geopolitics. Which one is going to win? The answer to that is going to define the speed and the shape of our electric world.